Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Slider, and welcome back to That's the Flavor, episode number 21. That's the Flavor is your weekly podcast where I, Christian Slider, sit down with my friends and talk about my life, or also just random stuff and hang out and have a good time. It hits your podcast feeds every Monday, and it's there for at least, 45 minutes to an hour of glorious conversation that everybody can laugh at and have a good time. I apologize for the lack of an episode last week. I was very much just finals happened, college student finals, they exist, and no way it was happening. I had to study for my finals. That's what I did. Yeah, sure, studying. But yeah, welcome back. Hope you guys had a good week off. Hope you guys enjoyed it, that flavorless week. And then I don't know why you would, because it's flavorless. But this week, I am joined by Suede. Hello, buddy. Welcome back.
Hello. So good to be back on my favorite show. What's the Flavor?
Don't do that. Don't. No, now you're pushing the agenda. Now you're pushing. No. You guys know him. You love him. He is back. Gonna hang out with us here today. But we have a new guest here on That's the Flavor. Some new flavor to put into the boiling pot. Julianna, welcome to That's the Flavor. How are you on this fine Sunday evening?
I'm good. It's good to be back. It's really great. Not that I was ever here a first time, but as someone who's coming to a new location, that just feels like home. It's good to be back.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I am glad that this location in the 3 minutes we've been recording, if that even, it feels like home. That's what That's the Flavor is here to do. So, Juliana, I have to ask you the question. I ask it to every new guest. What is your go-to Christian Slider memory or group of memories? Like Michael, I think last time he was when he was on, I think last episode was I just like when you do funny stuff, more or less is what he said, but still, what is it? What is your go-to?
I would say Turtle Jesus. That old chestnut.
I just knew it.
That's for some reason. And also this one time in class when we had to do 3 pictures, live pictures of a fairy tale, and we chose Cinderella. And you were Cinderella.
Yes.
And I was the prince, probably. I think that's a good one.
Those were good ones. And Turtle Jesus is something we will touch on here in a second, because I definitely want to break down that chestnut that is Turtle Jesus. But before we get into that, one thing I want to mention, to be honest, we got 2 things here that I'm going to make sure you guys know about before we continue on with the episode. So number 1 is the That's the Flavor holiday special, an episode where I'm going to sit down with all the guests that have been on That's the Flavor so far, and to kind of check in with them, talk about some holiday stories, some fun holiday themed stuff, hang out, have a good time, and that'll be airing on Christmas Day, so December 25th, Christmas. Will be airing both on your podcast feeds and also in video form. And on next week's episode, I will tell you specifically where you'll be able to find that video, so you can go ahead and watch it, because we're going to be recording video, guys. Video. Yeah. The other thing to go ahead and touch on is that currently the second That's the Flavor podcast is in development. And hopefully a pilot will be out before the end of the year. And when I say That's the Flavor podcast, it's more of That's the Flavor network of podcasts, but it's still going to be kind of the next show that I'm working on that I want to do. And so, that'll hopefully the pilot for that will be out before the end of the year. So stay tuned for those 2 things. Without further ado, let's talk Turtle Jesus. Let's really break that down. So, Turtle Jesus. I feel like the more I say it, the more real it becomes. We're kind of just willing a turtle. Gonna will a religion into existence. So, Joanna, since you brought it up, I'm gonna let you kind of give me your side of it. Tell us a little bit more about Turtle Jesus. Where did that come from? How did it originate?
Well, you've heard of turtles, right? And we've all.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So we've heard of all turtles. We've all heard of them.
I've heard of all turtles, yes.
Yeah, we've heard of every single turtle out there is known to us. It's just an instinct thing. We just know. You might not consciously know, but it's in your subconscious if you really think about it. And we all know about Jesus, that guy or girl, I don't know, whatever you think. And what do turtles believe in? Could it perhaps be Turtle Jesus? I think it is, and clearly we thought that during one acting class where we went around in a circle and we each added a couple words to a story, and then somehow we landed on good old Turdy G.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of sucks that like none of us were writing this down when we were doing it, because I wish we would have had it all, because the story that got us to that point was definitely a good one. It's very much a exercise in the acting class, sit down, spew out a few words to like make a story, and it's all about being fast and being like quick about it, right? Being on your toes. Mm-hmm. So of course out comes along. I think it was the story of like a turtle who originally like lost his mother, and then Turtle Jesus came along. Like, still, that's how that religion was formed. And it was definitely, I think, the most defining moment of my career as an actor so far. I think that's really what has shaped me, and kind of guided me these past couple months. And I'm not sure about you, Julianna, or you, Swade, but I feel like that's what's gotten me to this point is Turtle Jesus.
I mean, he's definitely been a guide.
Sure.
I can't put too much into him because I'm pretty sure the only reason we landed on him was because I think I had killed off the turtle in the story, and you didn't like that.
Yeah.
So we had to come up with a detour and reroute it.
So yeah, when you committed just out of nowhere turtle murder, yes, I felt like we needed to make a detour to fix the scenario.
And a rose.
Yes.
And a rose, Mr. Turdy G.
Mr. Turdy G. But how do you feel that Turtle Jesus has shaped your acting career, as you know?
I feel like every time I sit down to do work on a character, I think about him. I picture him. If Turtle Jesus was playing this part, what would he do?
Right.
And
the big
that
question
really
is,
inspires me.
Is Turtle Jesus an actor, though?
I think Turtle Jesus can do anything he sets his little turtle heart to, Christian.
Yeah, are you sure it's on his little turtle mind that he's got a set to it? Because I feel like what if he's not logically thinking through the scenario?
I think that's a question you really needed to ask him.
Well, unfortunately, Turtle Jesus could not join us today on the podcast, so I have to save that question for a later date.
Oh wow! So just a backup. Wow, I should have known. This was about him all along. That's why we're talking about him, aren't we? It's because you couldn't get him on the show, so you had to settle.
Yeah, you had to cancel.
Episode number 21, the one where Turtle Jesus couldn't make it. That's what it is. So, do you guys know about chip buddies?
What?
Oh, a chip buddy is. I gotta find it because it's been a thing. Yeah. So, a chip buddy is an English food that just breaks down to French fries in between two slices of bread.
That sounds awful.
It's an English thing apparently, and I guess where it's just like French fries in between two slices of bread.
So a potato sandwich.
Kind of here, I'm gonna.
What place has that? Like, I think it's Sheets is maybe the first place I saw has like fries on a burger. But
literally, that is a chip buddy. I just put it up in our chat. That is a chip buddy.
That is so, I don't know, unpleasant.
This feels like a lot of carb.
Obviously.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
Starch.
Is the bread toasted or?
No, it doesn't look toasted.
It looks powdered.
Oh no.
It looks like a solid piece of bread. I'll give it that.
I mean, sure.
Do you still put ketchup on it is the real question, because then you got to think the ketchup is also going on the bread, which I think constitutes the question, should we start dipping our bread in ketchup?
Oh,
I think I need to call 911.
So I don't think there's any ketchup, because I feel like in this scenario, looking at it, even though it looks like a pretty hearty piece of bread, I think we would see ketchup leaking through that bread.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think ketchup goes on a chip
100%.
buddy.
We get soggy.
So ask the internet. The internet has helped That's a Flavor so many times in the past. Does ketchup go on a chip?
It's so dry though if you don't have any kind of condiment to go on that thing.
I'm more caught up on the name Chip Buddy. Ugh.
All right, so this information here coming from tripsavvy.com. The Chip Buddy, a seriously British sandwich. chip buddy, a sandwich made of French fries, is a food phenomenon that can only happen in Britain, where the humble spud is a food group all its own. Every country seems to have its own versions of the heart attack on a plate foods, and Britain is no exception. One of these may be the chip buddy. It's basically a sandwich of French fries, or chips as they're called in the UK, between bread slathered with butter. Thus the name buddy. Humble chip is so deeply embedded in English lad and laddie culture that is even a song about it. The song, known as the Greasy Chip Buddy song, is an anthem sung by fans at the English football club Sheffield United to the tune of John Denver's Annie's song. How to make a chip buddy? Let's see. Let's just kind of skim here. Softened salted butter, thickly spread on plain, cheap white bread. Don't hold back. If you're worried about fats and calories, why are you eating the sandwich anyway? Cooked chips or French fries. The chips should be fluffy on the inside but pale on the outside. If you're clever about deep fat frying and can make twice cooked chips at home, go for it. But really, this is an impulse sandwich that you can make from good quality frozen fries or, best of all, fresh hot chips from a local takeaway shop. Salt. Liberally sprinkled on the hot chips, coarse, kosher, or sea salt is the best. Sauces, which are optional here, purists find the hot salty chip and buttered bread enough, but some people add ketchup, HP sauce, or melted cheese. Ooh, that melted cheese. Ooh, wait on. Instruction. Aficionados insist that it's important when you put your sandwich together to arrange the chips neatly in 2 or 3 layers. Kind of like building a log cabin. Each layer perpendicular to the one under it. You want to make a tightly packed, cross-hatched arrangement. This, apparently, has an impact on the taste. So, and there's also a whole thing about when to eat chip buddies, which is basically any time.
You guys know what this means, right?
To try this?
Yeah, we got to go to England.
I'm good.
I feel like we can also just make it here, though.
No, but I feel like it would just hit different in England.
We could make.
I feel like a lot of things would hit different in England.
Yeah, but would you not want to know how it would taste in England? I mean, sure, we can try it here.
You can eat it on the plane while you fly over there.
Yeah, like it should be like a test experiment. We have one fully in America, we have one on the plane, and then we have one in England.
All right.
I'm good. That's all you.
So, Julianna, I'm with you on this. We don't have to count Swade in here. Whatever, it's fine. Swade dug his own grave.
I'm good. I don't need.
When we get big and famous off this chip buddy experiment, it'll be fine. So, when that's the flavor, raises enough funds, we'll go ahead and start this chip buddy saga. All right, how about that? That's the plan here.
Deal. I mean, this brings a whole new level to the name of the podcast. What's the flavor? Because now I genuinely want to know what the flavor is.
French fries and butter.
I feel like is this what the name's been leading up to, Christian? Is this what it's meant all along?
Well, first off, I gotta correct you.
First episode.
Yeah,
I had to correct Swade, and now you're falling into the same trap, which is great. The show is called "That's the Flavor." After you so confidently said, "What's the flavor?" I feel like you need to hop in this grave over here that I have dug for you.
Okay, I'll hop in, but
definitely.
If I'm gonna hop in, I'd like to take a bite of that sandwich before I go.
Take the chip buddy with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll gladly.
Good. Take it to its grave, and it could die with you.
But I definitely feel like there will be something with That's the Flavor and a chip buddy here soon in the future. I feel it in my bones.
Mm-hmm.
I sense it too as well.
Yeah, there's a disturbance in the flavor force. Yeah, chip buddy though. Like I'm very confused. Wait a minute. Hold on.
It seems relatively simple. I mean, you just get. Although I will say, the directions are oddly specific. I mean, of course, it's just one person's recipe. But can you imagine if we were that specific about like making PB&Js, like down to what type of peanut butter we use? Mr. Soft on the inside, crispy on the outside, fries, and white cheese.
It was just some fat guy, some fat British guy, and it's like, this is how I make my chip buddy. This is how all chip buddies should be made.
So, before there's the whole other thing here that I want to break down because I feel like it goes down this rabbit hole. So don't forget the crisp sarnie. This is of course coming from the same article at tripsavvy.com. Another variation on potatoes between slices of white bread is the crisp sandwich or sarnie. Crisps in Britain are what North Americans call potato chips. Remember, the chips are in the UK or French fries back home. Yes, thank you, Trip Savvy. These potato crisp, doused with the sauces on white bread, yes, butter, of course, are so popular in some quarters that recently 2 different crisp sarnie cafes opened in the UK. The first in Belfast was a pop-up cafe that closed after a few months. The second, which opened in Yorkshire in 2015, was apparently a roaring success before the owner was forced to close because of his health. If you're thinking of trying a crisp sarnie, check out the BBC's recipe. So it's just chips and unbuttered bread. There's nothing there.
Is that all they eat?
That's what a crisp sarnie is, apparently. And
It's just another name for a chip buddy.
here's the thing. Stay with me, because it gets worse. It keeps getting worse, right?
Oh god, it's already pretty bad.
I start believing in it less, right? Chip buddies are most popular in the north of the UK and in Scotland. Not too surprising, actually, since they also enjoy the other artery-clogging treat, battered in deep fries Mars bars.
That one at least makes sense.
But before you turn... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in their defense, how many times have you seen a deep-fried Snicker bar in America?
Not often, actually.
Deep frying anything is
Reese's
something that people do. They want to deep
I
fry
know,
everything.
but it's still... when I see it, it's like, ooh, yum. But when I read it, it throws me off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Before you turn your nose up in disdain at these weird, unhealthy combinations, consider the banana and mayo sandwich eaten for luck by the Washington Nationals baseball team.
All right, that one's, I will say, is a little gross.
And of course, there's always the Fluffernutter, which I don't know why that's mentioned. The Fluffernutter is just a great creation. You leave that alone. And odd and unhealthy things to eat in Britain don't end there. There's always the bacon sarnie. Chip buddies are probably an acquired taste, but everyone loves a bacon sarnie. That's where the article ends. I want to go back to the banana and mayo sandwich.
Stop.
Do we need to? Do we really need to?
I think it was the first time I gagged that hard.
Is it a high quality banana?
Even if it is, that doesn't help.
Sure. Well, I'm curious, right? Because so I was on YouTube, of course, like one does, and I was watching a binging with Babish video. Which, if you guys don't know, he's a cooking channel, and he does like he'll take things mentioned from shows and movies and like recreate them in food wise. So like the simple one, it was simple because it was from Community, but buttered noodles, and he was doing it right. And that's the whole thing where it's like, okay, you can make a really like high quality butter noodle if you just get really high quality noodles and high quality butter, right? So like I'm curious if like banana and mayo sandwich, man, every time I say it, it sounds worse. If they're just really high quality mayo and really high quality banana, and I guess also really good bread, or if it's just like 2 pieces of white bread, supermarket, Walmart banana, and some white mayo.
Either way, it's gonna be a horrible taste, I'm guessing.
Here's the thing though. I wonder if it's just eaten for luck by the Washington Nationals out of like purity, like out of just it's the thing, it's what we gotta do. Or if like it is secretly
Old
good,
traditions,
right?
they just won't die.
You know,
some rookie shows up for his first day.
It's their hazing. You gotta eat a banana with mayo.
A whole banana with mayo. They sell, instead of chocolate covered bananas, it's mayo covered bananas.
Oh
my god. They take a banana, they dunk it in a vat of mayo, and then deep fry it, and then squirt mayo all over it.
I feel like this team is probably like, oh god, one member of the team eats one banana with mayo on it one single time, and suddenly...
and we just had to win that day, and now it's a thing. Like,
it was the best day he ever played.
Now, after the whole deep fry thing, all I can think of is there's that clip from SpongeBob where it's like, here's your Krabby Patty Supreme on deep fried on a stick, and he's like, forgot my mayo, and then he sits down and it's just him chomping on it and then gurgling the mayo like as he shoots it back. There are videos on YouTube that are 10 hours long of just the gurgling sound. Yeah.
Oh, I've played them. I slowed them down. I sped them up. It's hilarious.
So yeah, I mean, buddy, here's the thing. I'm definitely down to try a chip buddy because I'm a really big French fry fanatic, but I'm not sure about everything else that I read on that list. So
burn it all.
Burn it all. See, I feel like the chip buddy is probably the best option out of that. You know what I mean?
It may be.
The deep fried Mars bar, like I said, isn't too far off. I guess it depends what you're in the mood for, because the Mars bar would probably be sweet, but whatever the heck the French fry bread combination, you gotta have some sort of beverage with you if you're gonna have that.
Right.
There's
Just a
no way
glass
it's not.
of mayo.
Oh, God.
Ah.
This is where the banana with mayo comes in, I see. It's a combination thing.
Oh no.
Oh.
Slices of banana on the chip buddy with a glass of mayo.
And a Mars bar deep fried for dessert.
This just So.
Can we move on?
Yeah, no. Yeah, we're gonna pivot away. Something I've been thinking about, right? So I'm not sure if either of you know, or if either of you really care, but I feel like it's an interesting actor thing, right?
Okay.
So Hayden Christensen, actor who played Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels, and then also Darth Vader at the end of the 3rd episode, I guess technically as well, is after years of like no longer like acting or doing anything, coming back to like be Darth Vader again in the Star Wars universe. And I don't know why that like dumbfounds me. It's like, is he still gonna be good? You know, like I don't know what the statement is here, but I've just been thinking about it, right? And it's like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know about that.
Here's the thing people aren't taking into account. Hayden Christensen never played Darth Vader. He played Anakin. The person inside the Darth Vader suit was not Hayden Christensen.
Oh, was it not? That's interesting. Okay.
At least in the original trilogy. I don't know if he
Right,
put on
right.
the suit at the end of the 3rd movie. What is it? Revenge of the Sith. He may have, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know for a fact that the original Darth Vader was somebody else and was voiced by James Earl Jones, obviously.
And I guess what I'm more interested about, like, I'm gonna look it up just to make sure I'm not like speaking ill, but it's one of those things where I'm wondering, like, can you? It's one of those things where it's like, so a football player, you know, who's like really good, and then like I don't know, stops playing for however many years, and then like I don't know, comes back to play again, like. Does like do you just get like what is his acting gonna still be good? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way, just more of a curiosity way than anything else.
As long as he's been practicing, I mean, it's for him. It's essentially just going on a hiatus, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this right now, and I am wrong. I'm very wrong.
Oh, he's not.
No, in the sense of like he is not. He didn't really go on a hiatus. Like he I'm just gonna kind of go through. Like he is, I guess, actively been acting. Actually,
actively.
So, oops.
Lesser known movies.
Yeah, like I mean, he was in Jumper. You know, that's kind of known.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, just like American Heist, Outcast, 90 Minutes in Heaven, First Kill, Little Italy, in 2018, The Last Man in 2019. Was the voice of Anakin Skywalker in Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9. Yeah, he has been doing stuff, so I kind of take it back. But yeah,
just a few things.
It's a smidge, you know. Christian always here, not really knowing what I'm talking about, but that's fine. That's fine, right?
I was gonna say, unless he's playing himself in a flashback as Anakin, I don't really see how he's reprising his role.
I don't know either, but you know what? The people over at Disney Star Wars know what they're doing, maybe, kind of, sort of. So
shove him in there.
Star Wars,
nostalgia
from Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy, the person who like runs the Star Wars stuff at Disney, is like sitting over there, like, and it's Hayden Christensen sitting in like a glass case, like that's like break-in emergency. She like grabs a small hammer, smashes the glass.
We need him.
Nostalgia. But yeah, I don't. So you know what? That entire point is null and void. Whatever. Christian was wrong. Christian's now going to walk it back and say no. Never mind. We're going to see what he does, and it'll be good. Maybe, hopefully.
Glad we touched on that.
I'm glad that we got to this point, and I'm glad that I'm out. That's the flavor, is always a learning experience for me, right? And I feel like that's a good thing,
Have you learned anything?
That I was wrong.
You learned that the British put fries on bread and then put another piece of bread on top and call it
a sandwich.
Exactly. See, that's the flavor, a learning experience. So wait, do you feel educated now?
Less educated, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, sure. Okay. I guess so. So I was thinking, right? I wonder what it's like to be a pufferfish.
Oh no.
Because here's my thing, right? I feel like knowing how anxious of a person I am, and like the whole reason why pufferfish puff is like a defense mechanism / like like so when they get like spooked or like, they feel really anxious, they go poof and they poof out, and it makes them not feel so good. So like I wonder if like I would just be screwed as a pufferfish, like I wonder. I know I would, but I'm not sure where you guys stand. Do you think you guys would survive as pufferfish?
Survive?
I mean, yeah, because the thing
Like
is too, like
being
when they puff out, right?
Right.
Like it's not good for them. Like it hurts them. It's not necessarily a great thing. So like if they puff out too many times, I feel like they die. Like
They can't retract; they just keep expanding.
can
Explode.
pufferfish.
The entire ocean is just one giant pufferfish.
Can a pufferfish explode? Hang on.
The
I
story
love
just
the
took
idea
a
of
turn.
like an immortal pufferfish. He can't die, so he just keeps expanding.
So
Maybe we should do that on
forums.saltwaterfish
SpongeBob.
forums.saltwaterfish.com. Hold on.
A lot of research, I can tell.
Yeah, seems like our topics are
Underbelly was
searches.
I don't know though. Even if I was a pufferfish, like what would warrant that situation in which, like, do you mean if I was just born as a pufferfish and not as a human, or if like some witch came along, and
Well,
put a
he
spell on
he
me
was
and turned me
equating
into a
it to how
pufferfish?
he was equating it to how stressed he is now as a human. How that would transfer over to him being a pufferfish. That he would like be so stressed out he'd just pop every now and then die
Oh.
eventually.
So we're going with the witch transformation scenario.
I
Okay.
guess.
In that
I would assume.
scenario, I would raise the question, why a pufferfish? Why would I be turned into a pufferfish? Perhaps Christian would be turned into a pufferfish. You
I was
never
gonna say,
know.
maybe Christian's a pufferfish and we're something else.
Yeah,
Gophers.
exactly.
You guys are gophers.
Go for
Who's to say both of us are gophers?
Yeah, I'm a dodo bird.
Okay, so it doesn't answer my question if they can die from puffing off too much, but Google can pufferfish explode? And now I found a Reddit video that is labeled "Giant Mantis Shrimp Makes Pufferfish Explode Before Dragging Him Back to His Lair."
Oh.
Yeah.
So in that circumstance, I don't think I would survive as a pufferfish if I were to be that pufferfish.
Well,
This
now
mantis
wait.
shrimp is just ignoring his spiky skin.
Do they mean explode as in just expand, or literally rip apart because he exploded?
I'm waiting for that to happen. We're a minute into the 2.5 minute video.
Oh god. Skip ahead.
I mean, the video started with him already puffed up.
Okay.
Now this mantis shrimp is just going at him. Trying to like find a way to drag him down, but the pufferfish is like, no, leave me alone and stop it. But the pufferfish really doesn't have much control once he's puffed up, so he like floated into the sand and got stuck, right?
Oh.
And he like started to float away, and oh no, come on, buddy!
All I know,
like
all I
watching
know-
Sad Animal Planet. Oh, buddy!
all I know is that if I was an animal in the ocean, anything smaller than a great white, I'd probably kill myself because I hate the ocean.
So what would make you suddenly enjoy the ocean if you were a great white?
No, I mean that size, like something that size or bigger, to the point where there's probably nothing bigger than me, so there's nothing I really have to be afraid of.
Interesting.
That's one of my biggest fears, is that unknown factor of looking
Oh my
in like
God.
super dark waters.
The
Just
thing
not
is,
going
though,
down there.
the smaller you are in such a big ocean, wouldn't you be more unnoticed in a way?
You're not wrong, but the second something notices you, you're probably screwed because you're so tiny.
But you could probably hide in a lot of places where the big thing would not be able to get to you.
Or I could just be the big thing and not have to worry at all.
Okay, I guess that's
Like,
true
make me
too.
a whale, and I'm good.
So,
What if someone goes whale hunting?
and
I'm a
hunting
whale
does
at the
exist.
bottom of the sea. I don't know.
Wait, it's
You
like there's
never know.
workarounds. I can figure this out. The pieces are there.
I'm a battle whale.
Call Whale Wars on Animal Planet. So I watched that video, right?
Mhm.
The shrimp literally squeezed him until he popped.
He literally popped.
So popped more of like all of the air that was used to inflate kind of just flew out of his mouth.
Oh,
But enough to then for where he started to shrink, and he got dragged back down the hole, right? And all you see is a little pufferfish face going like blub 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 glub 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 glub, like calling out for help as he gets sucked down the shrimp hole. He was
yeah,
gone.
that's terrifying.
Yeah. Well,
I
mantis
wouldn't
shrimp are
think
like
a
one of.
shrimp was a predator. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a mantis shrimp, and giant mantis shrimp are like one of the strongest predators in terms of actual strength, of like what they can do. I mean, mind you, then there's also pistol shrimp, but
I gotta look up what this thing looks like.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of a mantis.
terrifying. Pistol shrimp are scary. They literally, like, when they snap their claws together, there's so much force it creates like an explosion. It's like a mini explosion. Like pistol shrimp are scary, or giant mantis shrimp, all scary. All scary.
Well, snap! This thing is colorful.
But which one?
The mantis shrimp.
Yeah.
But also, its eyes are a little creepy. If that's what those are.
Probably.
That's what those are.
I don't know if that's its eyes, but if it is, they're just like white with tints of red.
Look, it's just so big. Like,
What's the scale on this thing?
scale is in
Big enough to crush a pufferfish.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, in the photos, it doesn't have like a size reference. It just kind of
right.
shows.
So according to Google, mantis shrimps typically grow around 10 centimeters, which is 3.9 inches in length. But this is talking about not giant mantis shrimp, right? And they can reach up to 15 inches. It's just for a shrimp. That's like a foot and 3 inches. That's what 15 inches is.
That's lobster territory. That's what that is.
Yeah. That's terrifying. All right. Does it worry? Speaking of this, right? Since we're on this topic of sea life, does it worry you how little of the ocean we like have explored?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Literally my fear.
Yeah. I figured it would for you, Swade. I figured.
Yeah. We're gonna explore deeper, and suddenly movies like The Meg, where they uncover a megalodon that's been stuck between some kind of like layer of heat in the water that he couldn't get past. Suddenly he can, and now the ocean's just
Right.
And that's why Jacob would be a whale.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably still die to a megalodon, but
probably
I'd die to anything else.
You know what? Probably wouldn't die to megalodon.
Pufferfish.
Yep.
Yeah,
or
that's
something
right. That's
smaller
right.
than a pufferfish.
Say that pufferfish sticks with his best friend, the whale. Like, I feel safe with you, Mr. Whale. And then he looks over and he's ripped in half and he's bleeding everywhere.
Mr. Whale, no.
Who's to say if I was a pufferfish and you were the whale, we'd be chilling in the ocean together, Jake?
If anything, he's probably big enough to swallow both of us.
But, you mean okay? So you mean the megalodon's big enough to swallow both of you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant that a whale is big enough to swallow both of you as humans.
Both another whale.
I was like, no, that's not how that works.
Actually, well, according to most movies, people get swallowed by whales.
Right, but that's like inaccurate.
Yeah,
so because whales can put you in their mouth, right? But they can't
literally swallowed into your stomach or into their stomach, but they get into their mouth. Yeah, I'd call that close enough.
Close enough to the swallow area. Yeah, but like you can't be eaten by it, I guess is my thing. Because their throats are too small.
Okay, so Not swallowed. Eat. Let's do it
Like
that
you
way.
can,
with the
because their
mouth,
throats are
swallow,
only
and
like
stuff.
3 centimeters wide.
Right, for the krill and whatnot.
Yeah, for the krill and like plankton and stuff. So I guess your big toe. You could lose your big toe probably.
Okay, so a whale could eat us both, but a megalodon could eat both a whale and a pufferfish.
Correct.
Yes.
Although, okay, so what kind of whale are you shooting for here, though? Because this is no. So like, are you talking like blue whale, like biggest there is?
I thought biggest was a sperm whale.
Is okay?
Is it sperm or blue?
Biggest whale. It's the blue whale.
Okay, so yeah, blue whale.
All right, so remember this:
massive.
reaching up to 98 feet in length. Estimated
About a football field.
egg on size. Estimates of megalodon size extrapolated from teeth with maximum length estimates up to 47 to 52 feet.
So he's bigger. Well, longer.
He's not longer.
No, I'm saying. Oh, I said that backwards.
The whale is like double his size.
I said I meant the whale, yeah. So the whale's
Yes.
bigger, or just longer at least.
Yes.
Huh.
Oh.
Interesting.
I feel like a megalodon being just like a massive great white, right? Because like probably
It can
mess
still
up a
do
blue
some
whale.
damage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but again, whale, massive. Don't have to worry about anything but a megalodon. I'm good with that.
Be like a pack of great whites if they ever go crazy and decide to like team up on you.
Turn on my jet boosters.
Yeah. See, why don't we all just be dolphins instead? Right.
Sounds
No one agreed.
I don't know.
On that note,
I kind of stick with the smallest thing in the ocean, and that way I could just hide, or maybe an octopus, perhaps.
Okay. Ooh, I
Because you
got a
could just
better one.
camouflage.
I call the
And-
kraken.
well, you
You
just want to
would
be a giant squid.
kraken?
A kraken, like Parts of the Caribbean style kraken.
So just big squid.
Biggest squid.
Oh, God.
Fair point. That's fair, actually. I feel like even if a megalodon ever does pop up, like megalodon's gonna leave you alone because it's gonna be like, "Hey, yo, kraken,
Right.
you're doing the same thing I am. Like, we're just gonna
I'll
chill
eat
out."
him.
That's true. I don't know if you could eat him. I feel like kraken could incapacitate and probably eat over time. But like a kraken would definitely win the fight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I would just be an octopus that is good friends with the kraken.
Like, "Hey, yo, Mr. Kraken, what's up?" Give him a high five, like with your tentacle. He'll be like, "Yeah, what's up there, Mr. Octopus?" And you'll be like, "What's up?"
There we go.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh no, Julianna, you're a new guest to the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would hope you answered yes to that, because if not, that'd be a lie. We'd have to go ahead and
Glad to be
cut
back.
the funding.
On my first time on the show.
Right. So I gotta ask you the question I ask every new guest. Right?
Mhm.
Who would win in a fight? 15 baby ducklings or a Shaquille O'Neal-sized loaf of Wonder Bread? A couple of things that
right.
we do know is it's not a timed fight. It is taking place in like an outdoor boxing ring scenario.
Okay.
Okay.
I've heard this question before. It's come up. It has come up in class.
It has come up in literally, I think, like the second class of our Voice 3 class this semester. It came up.
Yeah, multiple times. All right. So I think that we have established that ducks can't eat bread. Like, they're not supposed to eat bread.
So I will say, since that point, it has been discovered that ducks can get away with eating bread. It's not
They
necessarily
can.
good for them in large amounts, but they could pull that off.
So we're talking 15 baby ducklings. Shaquille O'Neal. How tall is Shaquille O'Neal? 6 foot.
7
He's
foot.
Almost 7.
Oh.
Shaquille O'Neal, American basketball player. Not anymore, Google.
7'1".
Yeah,
So what-
7'1".
What's the average size of a baby duck?
They're making me do more research that I haven't done since episode 6.
I'm just trying to get an accurate guesstimate of who's going to win in this. You know what I mean? A solid hypothesis.
Fair.
I paid attention in 7th grade science. I know. I know about the hypotheses.
Just ducks in general. I mean...
So there's 15.
15 of them, yes.
So there's no time limit on this?
Correct.
Then I gotta say, if the ducks can get away with consuming the bread, is water a factor in this? Are we allowed to get the bread wet?
I mean, I feel like it would have to happen by happenstance, right? Like the ducks can't purposely get the bread wet. But if they were to like knock the 7-foot-tall loaf of bread over and it gets a little damp because the ground's damp or something, then that's fair game.
Well, if we've got no time limit on this thing, we can just wait around for rain, right? Because chances are it's gonna rain at some point. So I'm thinking that I feel like no matter what, if the ducks aren't going to be affected by eating the bread, and there's 15 of them, over time, I think they would beat the bread.
I think here's the issue. So, like, if they eat the bread in a normal quantity, right, they're fine. But if they overeat, and if they just keep eating, they will just explode.
Yeah, but we're talking about no time limit on this thing.
Yeah, so as long as the ducks are smart enough to take a break from eating, I feel like they're fine. And I say Team Duckling all the way. I have since day one. But,
well, if they have a good coach, say I was the coach.
But these are, Julianna, they're not smart ducklings. They're still just ducklings.
But if they have a coach, I'm just saying, you know.
I mean, I don't disagree with the statement.
To have a good coach.
Please hire me.
If anyone out there is thinking about perhaps having a boxing match with 15 baby ducklings and a giant piece of bread, all I'm saying is that you should contact me.
Trust me, if you're this is already in production, that's the Flavor Incorporated. So if you're looking to be the coach for the Team Baby Ducks, just make sure we stay in contact, and I'll let you know as we get closer to that stage of it actually happening. Don't worry, because we've had no one throw their hat in the ring yet for a duckling coach. So
okay, and no one else better because they're gonna have.
You're the only one.
I'm the best in the business. I don't know what to tell you. You're not gonna get a better duckling coach than me.
I mean, unless I decide to be the duckling coach, and then I get it because I'm the person.
Okay, well, if you want the baby ducks to lose, go ahead. Be my guest.
Excuse me.
Them was fighting words.
Fighting words.
Look, I took the duckling team of Notre Dame all the way to the championship. All right, way back in '97. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear
exactly.
slander of my coaching ability.
Right.
No, I was gonna say you don't want to hear mine because I'm very much against you. I voted for bread.
Huh? Wait, why'd you vote for bread? There's no time limit.
Hold on. I would. Well, listeners of the podcast will know Victoria's whole mathematic reasons why she picked bread as well, and I'm not going to reiterate those because I don't remember them. But I really just picked it to be sort of what is it called?
Instigator?
That, but also I forget the word. I can't remember. It starts with a C.
Stupid. That's why you chose it.
Yeah, stupid with a C. Just to be instigative, sure. I just like picking the wrong side.
Sure.
Or is it the right side? We'll never know.
Well, it's definitely not the right side.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think the conclusion that I'm going to come to is if the Ducks have a coach that can stop them from eating the bread.
Wait, so the coach can interfere now?
No, wait. Yeah, the coach can't interfere.
Coaches constantly interfere.
You can yell from the sidelines, but if they don't listen...
Yeah.
Because they're ducklings.
Mind you, each coach will each side will probably, I don't know, the rules are still being worked out, but in my mind have like
I feel like there aren't rules, because if there were rules, there'd be a referee. And how are either of the sides
there is a
supposed to
referee.
tap
There
out
is a referee to
person?
make sure there's no foul play.
The
But
only rules
on
you
these
gave
team
to
bread.
me was 15 baby ducklings, a loaf of bread the size of Shaquille O'Neal in a boxing ring in an unknown location with no
Outside.
time limit. Those are the only rules that I was given.
So
Therefore,
far.
if I was able to be the coach and was able to pace the ducklings, I would be Team Duckling. If I couldn't, and the ducklings could just eat till their heart's content, the loaf of bread definitely has it. Because over time, the ducklings, unfortunately, will pass away because they don't get enough nutrients from the bread. But it's going to make them feel full.
So you're saying the only way for these ducklings to win is you.
Or some other renowned duckling
I feel
coach.
like, Julianna, you're setting yourself up for like a spotlight story here right now, and I don't feel
No,
like
it
I feel like
doesn't necessarily
you're
have to
using
be
the
he was
ducks
coach.
for your own gain.
I think if
The movie
someone was
trailer,
able to
the
find...
who took
Okay,
a
listen.
stand.
You know the dog whisperer guy that used to be on Animal Planet?
Still on Animal Planet, but yes, continue.
Well, say you get someone like him, but for ducks.
Mhm.
In
It
that
just said
case,
a duck whisperer.
Yeah, that would just be a duck whisper.
yeah, a whisperer of the ducks. I think in that circumstance, the ducklings have a shot. Now, if you just left 15 baby ducklings with a giant size of bread, then either they would walk out of the ring and lose by forfeit, or they would eat all of the bread, and then that would maybe not be so good for the ducklings in the long run. I mean,
Here's
if
the
they
thing.
could actually stomach the entire thing in one sitting and then digested all of that in a day and then went back to their normal eating habits, I think they'd be fine. But if they were like gnawing on that thing for weeks on end, that would not be good, because that would be the only thing that they're eating for weeks, and it clearly doesn't have enough nutrients for them. So
Here's the thing we haven't considered. To make sure your ducklings could eat that much bread, you'd have to starve them, and then you'd get PETA on your ass.
Jesus.
There's no way you could feed them regularly and then have them go up against Shaquille's bread and have them win.
In that case, PETA should step in when actors have to dehydrate themselves for movies, so they look hot.
I would agree, except they don't care about humans.
Humans are
In
animals
fact, they
too.
rarely care about animals.
hold on.
Report.
I thought the scenario was taking place in like an alternate universe where this was the only thing that was going on. I did not picture this
It's
happening
very
in the
much in
real
our
world.
world, Julianna. It's very much in our world.
Oh,
This
we're
is
in our
real.
world? I
This
think
is
the bread
here.
would win. In our world, I think the bread would win, because the ducklings would just leave. Who's gonna stop them from walking out? You guys are
Security.
already critical of there being a coach. There's no referee that I've heard of. What's gonna stop the baby ducklings from taking a quick little bite of
Security,
bread and
Julianna.
then being on their merry way? It's like a brunch for them.
She's just going off.
Be honest, it's security. Security is going to stop them.
Okay, but where was the security in the beginning of the scenario that I was told about?
So I'm starting this as an imaginary idea, and it's coming. It happens on the fly. What do you want from me?
Ground some of it in the rules of the world. You know what I mean? That's how a good sci-fi novel takes place. It has its own rules. Now, for this, how many security guards are there? Because you're talking 15 baby ducklings. Perhaps that's the real question. 15 baby ducklings against the security that's keeping them in the ring with the bread. I think you should be asking questions like that.
Mr. President, I think it's time to abort.
Yeah, and on that note, we're going to go ahead and transition to our next topic here. Hey, security, please make sure that Julianna stays on topic and on track here. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. All right, yeah, so it's time to go ahead and transition to our next topic and our next kind of area of the podcast. Donna getting really passionate there about how she feels about this whole duckling scenario, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as the show gets closer to episode 100. Julianna, if you don't know, on episode 100, I plan to have every guest on at the same time. We're going to talk about this topic in like a heavy.
You're going to have 100 guests on?
No, not 100. Because I don't know people. I repeat guests and stuff like that. So it'll be like probably closer to 80.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised you know 80 people.
I mean, you know what, Slade, you're right. I'll probably be closer to like 30. All right, leave me alone. It'll be a large number of people all talking about this topic at once. That's
Oh no.
more in control. Don't worry. But yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, don't worry. I got it all planned out here. I got it all figured out. Right. So I'm gonna ask you both an interesting question. Right. So we all know that that's the flavor is the thing that like it's all about having that flavorful moments in your life, the things that make you stand out and don't make you bland. And what I want to start doing on the show here is asking people about their flavorful moments. Ones that they don't mind sharing or talking about. So what I'm gonna ask from both of you guys is to kind of share like what are the moments that defines you. Funny things like mine are like driving to a house, falling into a recycling bin, right? Stuff like that. But like what kind of defines your flavor? So I mean, either one of you can start. I know I just kind of asked like a kind of a decently huge question.
Here, I got one, because I
Okay.
started thinking as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh no, I'm on the spot. Let me think of something. And I remember there was a moment in high school. I can't remember what year, but I had two friends, and they were dating. And at some point, they'd always stand right next to a wall, and it was the upstairs floor, and there was a crossover hallway. I'm like, sneak up on them through that crossover hallway. I don't know how they don't see me, and if they do, they're just playing it off as if they don't see me. I get to the end, and I like book it right at him like I'm just gonna jump out and scare him, like, ah! And the moment I shoot for it, I run straight into a teacher. Knock her flat on her ass. And I'm just sitting there in complete shock. And I'm like, oh dear God, help her up. And I help her. I'm like, I'm so sorry. That was an accident. I didn't mean to do that. And she just walks off, like saying, like, be careful next time. Watch where you're going. And I thought that was it. I was like, okay, she looked like she was fine. Nothing went wrong. That was just a weird incident. Later,
Right.
I get called to the principal. Apparently, she went out with an injury.
Oh.
I'm positive she played it off as if, oh, I can use this to get time off because I'm injured. But I got in trouble for it. I couldn't even fight the video evidence they had with no sound because to them it just looked like I was gunning straight for
Decking
her.
a teacher.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
I had people like watching out for her, like, okay, she's coming now, go, go, go. That's just what it looked like to them, and I'm like, well, I'm not fighting that. I'm not fighting this school. Well, you did
That's
it. Therefore,
crazy.
Yeah.
how does that define me? I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, man, dude, teachers walking through hallways, man. Like, let me tell you, like, no, like, legitimately. So there was a time in high school, right? I'm hanging out, and it was me and my girlfriend at the time, and it was in high school, and we're just doing our thing. Let me tell you, teachers walk the hallway too much. All right. So
We should really just stay, in their little room.
right, they should stay where they
It's safer
belong.
there, clearly.
Stay where they belong in their rooms, out of the hallways.
I wish I could stay in the room. That would be fun.
And just like it's me and my girlfriend. It's kind of the same thing. Or like your two friends, right? But like it was me and my girlfriend. And like we're doing our thing. We're being all we're dating in high school. And then all of a sudden, teacher walks by. And it's like, oh crap, act natural, right? All right, cool. Teacher pass, we're fine. And then all of a sudden, so we go back to doing our thing. Teacher comes back as if she was like patrolling the same area, like waiting for it. And then she just kind of like walked up to us and like tapped me on the shoulder. I was like, oh, okay. And then we just kind of both scattered and ran. I don't know why teachers allowed to walk hallways is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's the dumb no PDA bullshit.
Yeah, right? Like, I am sorry that I'm in high school, right?
Sorry, I felt
we did not have that at my high school.
But like, wait, you didn't have what, a no PDA rule, or like people making out in the hallways?
We had people making out in the hallways and no PDA rule.
Oh.
I guess
All
they
right.
just assumed it wasn't an issue?
Like,
But
it's not less that there was a no PDA rule, and it's more of just like that teacher is ruining everybody's fun. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure she was a substitute. Like regular teachers and stuff, they don't care. They're like, whatever. Oh, hey, look, yeah, it's my main man Christian. You know, getting some. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's right. That's right. But
one of those teachers who just becomes a teacher to have power over people.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to become a teacher. So I just make. Yes, I just like kick them while they're down. So well, I'll just slide all my things up where it's like, oh man, Mr. Slider, I got so many finals and midterms and stuff like that. I'm just so glad your class is really like laid back and chill. And I'm like, bam, 300-point final that I haven't told you about till now. Here, have fun. Bye.
Single space.
Oh god,
9-point fun.
Anymore, I can't deal with single space, right? Like I am so used to double space that if I have to single space something, it just throws my brain off, and I'm like, I can't type this. It looks too close together, right?
I don't like reading single space things anymore. At least when it's like for an essay, and I'm like having to read it multiple times, and I have to like later submit it. I hate when it's single space now because I'm so used to it being double spaced and so much easier to like not lose your place and to read it.
Yeah, like I think my second semester of college, I had a professor who like wanted us to type all of our essays single space, and I was like, "But where are you gonna write the feedback and the corrections? You're not leaving yourself any space."
The margins, Christian.
And it was just like, yeah, it was cramped in the margins. I was like, "This is stupid. It's dumb." And I guess it's like, oh, if you're worried about, oh, we're going to be writing a smaller essay, like, oh, it's a 3-page essay, and it's going to now be smaller because I'm letting you double space it, then just give us a word count instead. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's
or up the page count.
Exactly. But Julianna, enough about me talking about kissing girls in hallways and Sway talking about knocking teachers down in hallways. What's kind of your defining flavorful moment?
Well, I just bought a nightlight, and it shaped. Don't laugh at me.
Okay. Right.
It's shaped like a mushroom.
Laughing at the nightlight.
And it's a little mushroom, and he's got a smiley face. And I love it. Maybe not defining, but I mean, defining of the week, perhaps, yeah?
Certainly a moment.
It is
definitely a moment. And no, I wasn't laughing because you have... I wasn't laughing because you bought a nightlight. I was laughing because of the way that it transitioned from like Swade's story to yours, and it was just a fun transition.
I should have let her go first.
If you want like a fun story, sticking with the teacher theme of teachers being in the hallway at just really bad times, I have a couple of those stories. Two that I can touch upon right now because they're not super long. But the first one was, I think, okay, so 2 circumstances where I had been out in the hallways and I'd gotten really good news, so I started dancing. I think one time was the Castles had come out for like the spring musical. And I was like really, really excited. I started dancing in the hallway and I did like this leap. And like mid-leap, a teacher just walks out. And we just kind of look at each other. And then I just don't acknowledge what I was just doing. And I just started walking away normally. Like remaining, like connecting with the eye. The eye contact was still there.
Right.
I just stopped. And then I just casually walked away. I never spoke.
No, I respect that because it's definitely what I do too. Just don't even acknowledge what you were doing at all. Just get out of there. You don't want to become a scenario, right?
Yeah.
Imagine her walking backwards, eyes locked with the teacher, trying to get out of the hallway.
And then bumping into like a pillar.
Yeah. So
the other one.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. And then the other one happened in like middle school, and I was with my friends, and we were walking in the hallway, and I had like dropped something, and I said shit by accident, and yeah, in middle school, so it was really bad. And I looked up, and there was this teacher, and he was a math teacher, and I didn't have him, but I've heard other people who've had him, and he's like really strict. And so I like go down, I go, oh shit. I look up, I like make eye contact with this teacher, and I go, Zeus. Have you heard about the breed Shih Tzus? They're wonderful. My cousin has a Shih Tzu. I don't know if you've met her, Tipsy. Yeah, she's really like a sweet dog.
And thus her improv skill was born.
And that's how I
That is such a Julianna thing to do. Like that is something I've I feel like I've seen you do like a handful of times now, and now I know like where it kind of originated. I feel like in that moment it was born. You know.
That's, I guess, how it had to happen. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I need something that's more me.
Well, what you think is that I have another really good hallway story that I thought about since you know I feel like we're talking a lot about hallway stories at the moment.
It's a lot of shit going on these hallways.
So in the back,
I'm telling you, they're a scary place. We should all just stay in the classrooms.
So in the back of my high school, you know, there was basically all of the band and like choir rooms and stuff were like all kind of right next to each other in this big back hallway. And right at the very end of it, like right where another hallway started, was my Spanish classroom. They had like all this music stuff and then Spanish. And here I am walking down this big long hallway, and I always like pass by my choir room, our choir director sitting in there, and I look in at him and like, you know, I do a little like jokey thing, and I'm walking like looking at him. I'm not paying attention to where I'm walking, and my Spanish teacher always stands outside the room like welcome us into class, right? Well, turns out that the water fountain that's also in that hallway had a big spill. Like someone just like let the water fountain like run, I guess, and just spill over the floor, and then when they realized it spilled all over the floor, they just left. So I slip on said water. And like it was like a slow motion, like falling back through the air kind of slip. Like it was just like no control, whatever. So not only does my choir director, who I see 3 times out of my 7 classes, see me fall and like eat shit, my Spanish professor, teacher, I keep saying professor, this is what college does to you. My Spanish teacher then also sees me, and it just felt like shame. Like I got back up and I was like a walk of shame because my professor's like, Carlos, are you okay? As I'm like down the hallway, because you know my teacher's like, oh, you know, we like giving each other Spanish names here in my Spanish class, right. And so he's like, he's just shouting, Carlos, are you okay? As I'm like on my ass in the middle of the hallway, and it was a sad moment. I think it's where I lost all credibility as from both my choir director and my Spanish teacher.
You have choir in a day.
Yeah. So it was less I have choir that many times in a day, and it was more of like I had chamber singers, which is like honors choir, and then my music theory class was also taught by him, and then I was in there for one of his study halls. So like that's more of what it was than 3 classes with him, but it was still 3 periods of the day I spent with him, kind of scenario. I remember he was then able to shame me like a period later when I went into his classroom. I was like, leave me alone.
I remembered a real good embarrassing one.
All right.
So, during my time helping the theater, I was about to say professor, the theater teacher, there was one guy who was, he's sort of the shop teacher, but he also helped with building the set pieces behind the stage. And then there was the actual stage director. And I was helping the shop teacher early one morning because he needed help setting up for one of the performances, I think later that day. What was I doing? It was I think I was lifting a piece of wood, like a big.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, you were there.
Yes, please.
I was lifting a big wooden beam, and I had these big baggy cargo pants on. And when I think I was down on one knee, when I like stood up on one leg, my pants just ripped right at the crotch, and I was just, Mr. Stuckey, what do I do? And he's like, I have an idea. We'll go to the sewing room. And so we did. And it was full of teenage girls.
Oh, no.
Having a class. And I just looked in like, you know, gym shorts don't sound that bad today. So I fucking ran. Booked it right out of there.
You didn't say anything? You booked it?
Wait, what?
Did you not say anything? You just ran away?
Oh, no, like, that was just... I told them, I'm like, I'm okay. I'll have my pants fixed another time by someone who's not 7 teenage girls staring at me, like, what happened?
Your point.
I just basically said, I was like, Mr. Stuckey, I've got gym shorts in my locker, I'll go get those, it's fine.
Oh. I love how your teacher's response was not, "Oh, do you have like gym clothes?" It was
Let's
sewing
go
room.
fix it right now in the sewing room.
Hey, it would have worked had there not been people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it makes you think how like resourceful high schools are in a way. Like if something happens or goes wrong with like say an outfit malfunction, go to the sewing room.
Oh yeah, he's a pretty resourceful guy. Any other teacher probably would have been like, "Well, you're gonna have to live with it for the day, or do you have pants?"
Yeah, that was like my buddy. Luckily, he also had the gym short scenario, right? But we're in our psychology class. We're doing like this crazy presentation, whatever. And he's wearing these bright yellow shorts, like buttoned up, like cargo, like shorts, basically, and they just tear, like from button to down to like base, like the hem for the leg, like just huge tear. And he just kind of looks at it and he goes, like, well, shit, like, because mind you, like, this friend for context was Ozzy, right?
Oh,
Yeah. And this was probably been like the third time I have watched him rip a pair of shorts throughout high school. And it was like final week of class, senior year, and he just goes, well, shit. Like,
What did he
and I had
do?
to go and like be like, hey, can I like run and grab like my backup pair of shorts? And he's like, our teacher, mind you, was really, really chill, great guy, and goes, yeah, sure, go ahead. So like then he had like waddle his way out of the room so he wasn't like flashing his underwear at everyone and then go change.
What did he do?
I forget if it was just like, I think part of it was like he went to go sit down, but like part of it had gotten like stuck on something. Like I don't know
Oh,
exactly. Like it
oh,
was
I don't mean what physical activity did he do. I mean, what did he do to the universe that the universe causes this man to rip his
oh,
pants enough that he has a backup in his locker just ready to go?
mind you, he is also this is a story that I'll have to talk about. We can talk about it more when Ozzy's on another time. But Ozzy's also my friend who has broken both of his ankles. So, and those are fun stories that we'll have to talk about when Ozzy's on at a later time. But kind of running short here on time, and we are getting to the end of That's the Flavor for this week, at least. Honestly, I could continue going on and talking about this because it's definitely been a fun episode for sure. We've talked about a lot of fun stuff. But Swade, I want to thank you for coming back on for That's the Flavor for another time. I appreciate it. I hope it was as fun as the last.
I'll get back to you on that.
All right, I hate you, but it's fine.
No, I think it's probably. I don't think he was referring to you. Knowing Swade, he probably.
Wow.
Any opportunity I think that Swade has to diss me in a friendly way, I think he does.
Okay, all right.
It's
And I
not
thought
like actual like mean content behind it. It's more of just like as it's an ongoing joke.
Oh, I love.
I thought that he was more or less dissing Craig too. So. Craig, of course, audience being the recording bot that you have no ideas around, but it's fine.
What would Craig have to do with it?
And then, Julianna, I hope that you enjoyed your first episode of That's the Flavor, coming on here as a guest and hanging out.
Super fun. You know, I could have had a better co-guest, but you know.
Wow, all right. See, now you're asking for it.
I'm kidding. I had a great time. It was really fun talking to you guys.
No, because then you and Victoria would have had a math debate about the ducklings and the bread.
Victoria last episode said she was scared of fractions. All right, I don't want to.
Like, when it comes to the bread, she's all about it.
Right, exactly. She's breaking down the quadratic equation of the bread's mass production of weight.
She's just very passionate about bread math. Okay,
that's fair.
Let her live her dreams, Christian.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Your profession.
Right. Yeah. Look. You're right. I apologize. On that note, it's going to bring this episode of That's the Flavor to an official close. Episode number 21. Audience, thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out and just enjoying That's the Flavor every week. I'm just glad that I'm making a show that you guys enjoy, and hopefully you guys will continue to enjoy. Like I said, keep a lookout on Christmas Day for That's the Flavor holiday special. It might be called something different. You know, that's more of a working title. Like it could be called A Very Flavorful Christmas, or, you know, something along those lines. Who knows? But go ahead and stay tuned for that. And then also just next week's episode and the episode after that. We might end up tossing a couple of extra episodes here because I think it'd be really cool to end the year on episode number 25. So we'll see what happens. And then, of course, stay tuned for the new pilot episode for That's the Flavor's new show. And yeah, I've been Christian Slider. This has been That's the Flavor. Again, Julianna, Swade, thank you guys for coming on. And yeah, until next time, audience, stay flavorful.